you guys. Go Broncos. See you guys.
What a day for Russell Wilson on and off the field. He started his Tuesday, just like any other Tuesday, announcing that he and Sierra are having their fourth child.
I know.
Then Russ goes out on the field and absolutely lights it up for a fourth straight practice. I mean, what a day.
What a day. I mean, Russell Wilson, Sierra, she was out there. She looked beautiful. She's glowing. She's plump and perfect. Congratulations to the Wilson family. That is so cool. Congratulations to them. But yeah, what was more impressive, because I mean, them having a fourth kid, like impressive, but like not shocking. What was more impressive, I think, was his day today. And I know we'll get into details on that, but it really was an impressive fourth day.
Yeah, it certainly was. And let's just jump into it right away. Let's figure out how back is Russ. And for another day, I think we're seeing a little trend here.
He's definitely trending upwards.
Oh,
like
yes. How upward, though? Oh,
Wow.
Russell Wilson was Russell Wilson today. And kind of, I mean, it's fitting that it's Russell Wilson because it was kind of vintage Russell Wilson form today. Now, we had some injuries in practice, which we'll get to in the second, and that might have actually changed Sean Payton's plan for this practice because the Broncos, when they dove into team period, they started doing it walkthrough-wise. And I was like, I haven't seen this before in the first 11 practices. They're in full pads. This doesn't make sense. I thought, oh, no, are they just going to do walkthrough the whole day? But then they started picking it up, and as they started picking it up, Russell Wilson started picking it up.
Yeah. Todd, have you seen times where you guys are in full pads and you're out there and you're just kind of doing more of a walkthrough period? Is that normal?
No, that's not really normal. But like you said, when injuries occur or guys are still learning new offenses or defenses, the coaches kind of want to reiterate, whatever they taught us in the meeting rooms. I think the best way to do that is with a walkthrough. And it seemed like it paid off today. I think Russell Wilson is getting back to himself. 4 kids will do that to you. He gotta make sure he's earning that money because the fourth kid is always the most expensive. So I think he has some pressure on him today.
I bet they're fighting for some cash right now, right? They're just looking for side gigs, part-time gigs.
Oh yeah. I'm sure.
I bet Sierra's going to join me on the pod here. Her and I are going to do something together for some extra
Sierra,
cash.
you're very welcome to come on this pod. Russ, you as well. Do we think that Russ is looking to give back $35 million to the Broncos like Aaron Rodgers did 2 weeks ago?
Heck no.
Yeah, I don't think
There's
so.
no way. There ain't no way, as I would like to say. There's no way he would give any money. I wouldn't if I was in his position. He's worked hard. Didn't have the best year last year, but I've done enough through my career. I'm not giving away any money.
No,
Period.
you earn that money and all the guaranteed money because, as Todd, as you know, and players know, it's a business.
Yep.
Teams, when it's not working well for them and they can cut you, they're going to do that. So why would you help the team out if you have that guaranteed money? You rarely see it. That's why I was shocked to see Aaron Rodgers do that. Patrick Mahomes is now saying that he's going to work with the Chiefs and kind of do the Tom Brady thing, but that's disgusting. We don't want to hear that. What we do want to hear is if Russell Wilson gets back to Russell Wilson form, then he's worth the $250 million contract that the Broncos gave him. The worst case for the Broncos is that they pay him, he doesn't take a discount, and he plays anywhere like he did last year. But we're not really seeing that trend happen over these past few practices.
No, not right now. He's looking authentic, vintage Russell Wilson as of late. I really liked that scramble play today where he connected with Marvin Mims. That was probably my favorite play of the day. Again, looking through from Egypt through a few different walls of people, but it was an absolute beauty. So I think he's starting to really feel it. I think the offensive line is starting to feel it a little bit more today as well. Obviously, we'll get to those injuries later in the show. But Isaiah Prince, he had a good day.
He did. He certainly did. Let's just go through Russell Wilson's day
let's do it.
to give the listeners an idea of exactly where Russ is, because you mentioned it. The Marvin Mims play stole the show, and that is just vintage Russell Wilson. But he started off a little bit shaky. In fact, the first play was just a classic Pat Surtain pass breakup. It was off a boot, so Russ is rolling right. Jerry Jeudy's coming from the left side of the field all the way across to the right. would have been a 5-yard completion. Russ throws a bullet in there, and Pat Surtain's just in smothering coverage, times his arm perfectly, breaks up the pass. It's like really not much that Russ could do there, although he could have hit. There was a tight end, I think it was Troutman, who was like 1 yard down the field. Would have been a completion, only 1 yard. Maybe it was worth the gamble, but starts with an incompletion. But really, you're just like, damn, Pat Surtain's that guy.
I mean, that's what you expect from him. Whether you're watching him in team play or one-on-one, I think I haven't seen him get beat a lot this year, and I don't think I expect to see it throughout the regular season. He's a smothering corner. Yeah, I like what I see.
Yeah, let's just say 49th on the NFL's top 100 is not a good spot for him. I think he
No.
should have been top 20 at least. So.
In fact, yeah, you had an issue with that. You brought that up in practice today.
I know. I have a big issue with it because Alabama put out the list of all of their top 100 players, and the people that, I mean, no offense, no disrespect, but
sounds like
some of
there's
the
maybe some
people that he's
disrespect.
behind, I'm like, oh, when you put it like that, he's what, the 6th or 7th
I think
Alabama
sixth.
player on the list. So I
So
just
here
don't
it is.
think that's
Let's go
accurate.
through this. You guys tell me if Russ should be above these people.
Pat.
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 Yes.
Yeah.
Russ after last year, probably not. Pat. Jalen Hurts. Should Russ be above him?
That's a tough one, but yes.
Yes, because they've got Jalen Hurts, not 1, not 2. They have Jalen Hurts checking in at 3 on this list. And this is the NFL Top 100. And Todd, you know the NFL Top 100 better than all of us. Anytime we talk about the NFL Top 100, we always say how kind of BS it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because you want to take us through the process? What happens?
Well, I mean, everybody votes, but I think some votes are weighed more than others, and I think that it's really like a popularity contest. It's like running for president in middle school.
Yeah.
So I don't think guys are really given the exact credit they need. I think Justin Simmons has been snubbed year after year on the list, and I think, Pat is just another Broncos DB that's getting the short end of the stick.
And if I remember right, the way that that it happens is people from the NFL come to locker rooms, and when you guys are just hanging out in between your meetings and stuff, in between practice, and they give you a list, and it's 1 through 25, I think, and they give you a pen and they say, "Can you fill this out? Yeah, your top 100," and you're just sitting there with like nothing to prep for.
Yep.
Most of the guys don't like pull up a list of players and stats and
Yeah.
rankings and all that. They just go, who's sitting next to me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's Russ next to me. Russ number 1. Justin's right there. Justin number 2. Oh, you know what? I went to college with Todd Davis. I'm going to put him
Exactly.
number 3. And for the most, and I mean, some guys fill out like 1 through 7, and
At
then they're like,
most.
here you go, I'm done.
At most, and it's like in the middle of training camp. You just had a 2.5 hour practice.
Yeah.
Like you're not ready to honestly think about the top 100 players in the NFL. Like you said, you may fill out 6 or 7. 5 of them are your teammates and 2 other guys, and you just handed in.
And so no surprise that a quarterback comes in at number 3. Patrick Mahomes was 1. Justin Jefferson number 2. Actually, credit to him for how good he is for a wide receiver to be there. But then Jalen Hurts, a quarterback, number 3. Then at number 18, Minkah Fitzpatrick, a guy that was a first-round pick, then traded for 2 first-round picks. So he's really got a lot of national spotlight.
sure.
I'm probably taking Pat above Minkah, personally.
Pat should be out of Alabama. He should be number 1 on this list.
I think so.
Oh, above Jalen.
Yeah, above Jalen.
That's the only one I'm okay with. Like
When I think of, again, I had the hometown bias of actually like watching Pat Surtain put in the work that he does day in and day out, interacting with him. You know how smart he is. And of all the people on the list, we talked about this earlier, Jalen Hurts is probably one of those guys who's putting in an equal amount of work. All these
sure.
guys work hard, but it's just, I think when you, on the field and off the field, I think the player that Pat Surtain is, he's a 10-year vet, and obviously he's in, year 3?
Yep, exactly. I mean, already
It feels like forever.
it's not crazy to say that he's along the Champ Bailey route
Yeah.
right
for
now.
sure.
And Champ Bailey, first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, and I like the way he makes it look so easy. Like a lot of guys struggle out there one-on-one coverage, and it's not an easy down by any means. And he makes it look effortless. I think that's the kind of player you can look at and say he's going to have a long career, a Hall of Fame type career, if he can just stay on this track.
And we're talking about in that play that happened, the first play of practice, we're talking about Jerry Jeudy, a guy that led the league in yards per separation in his routes last year, and he was just smothering on him. And so like you said, what Pat did, it seemed pretty routine for him, that is anything but routine.
Not at all.
But that's just who he is. He just makes it look easy. So it's a really good point there. And I don't even think we even need to go through the rest of the list because you guys are just going to say, no, Pat belongs.
He's better than all of them.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
So let's continue through Russ's day. Then Russ's next pass, he overthrew Jeudy on the right side. He was under pressure. Caden Stearns came off a blitz, and so Russ kind of hurried it. You still don't want to see an overthrow because he did have a clean enough pocket to throw it. But you're kind of like, okay, 0 for 2, really 0 for 1 on his mistakes. And you're like, man, I don't want to see him lose momentum over these past few days. But then the next play, he had a completion to Jeudy on the right side for 5 yards. But this one was as close as it gets to an interception without being one. You had Damari Mathis.
I thought it was picked off.
Oh, I thought
my
so
jaw
too.
dropped because I was like, oh, pick. And then I was like, how did he even come up with this ball?
Because Damari Mathis, it's going out on the right side, and Damari Mathis reads this, breaks on it, dives for it, and typically when a guy dives for it, they're going to break it up or intercept it.
Sure.
And so, exactly, like Alexis thought, I was like, oh, wait, Judy's turning upfield and kind of steps out of bounds. So very, very close to an interception. But this is a game of inches.
Yes.
So it's not an interception. Jeudy comes up with the catch, and I mean, just a bullet from Russell Wilson in order to get it to him.
Did you just quote Vic Fangio?
Did I?
I think so.
I said Vic. Oh, I quoted.
Game of
Game
inches.
of inches.
Oh, game of
Game
inches.
of inches.
Yeah. Death by inches.
Death by inches.
Yeah,
It is death and a game of inches.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Todd. I know you're going to chime in. You were going to chime in.
Oh, no, Vic Fangio? No, I don't have nothing to say about Vic. I'm happy with where we sit right now with Sean Payton. I will say that.
Once he took the music away from your locker room.
That was it. I was done.
That was it.
I'm out of here. No.
Todd, I thought about that many times the past 24 hours. I just cannot believe that. Vic Fangio took the music away, the pregame music away from the locker room. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Can't believe it.
You wouldn't do that to us, right?
Of course not.
know,
In fact, we need some music before the pod starts next time.
I'm going to get you guys.
Yeah,
Some
there. I
pre-pod.
I
Let's do it.
see a pretty big speaker right there. We need to get hype.
Yeah.
We can do that, definitely. That's not a big issue.
So it starts. So that was kind of the first team period. After the walkthrough team period, then we go to red zone. Some situational football, which Sean Payton loves. I've seen more situational football in the first 12 practices of training camp than I saw in any other coach's training camp throughout the entire training camp. Sean Payton is all about it, and it's great for us watching it because it's where it really matters, and you're able to tell when you're in the red zone, when you're in a 2-minute situation, who wins, who loses. And in the red zone, first play, little screen pass to Samaje. Russ put the ball where it needed to. Some people actually thought that it would have gone for like an 18-yard touchdown the way it was set up. I think someone probably would have got Samaje.
Yeah. I think so.
Next play, pressure's coming in Russ's face. He throws it away, which we haven't really seen Russ do much. Typically, in the first 8 practices, he's just been hanging in the pocket and taking sacks and then scrambling out of those. But he threw the ball away. In the red zone, that's probably the best time to throw the ball away. Instead of being backed up to your 26-yard line, then you just start third down from your 18 again.
I'm okay with that. You know, if you're under duress, you throw the ball away, you live to play another down. You don't want to take a sack. You don't want to have a costly turnover. Just live to play the next down. So that's a smart decision by him. I feel like, you know, Sean Payton is definitely coaching him on his decisions and what to do, whether he's under rest. Like, don't panic. Like, that's the worst thing you can do is panic. Just throw the ball away and we'll play another down.
It was a vet move there.
Yeah, and what's interesting is just thinking about, you know, when we talk vintage Russ, the panicking thing isn't really a thing that we're used to seeing from Russell Wilson. That was a thing that we were used to seeing last year specifically. So it's nice to see him kind of get back to quick decision-making, throwing it out, and like you said, living to play another down.
And then he capped off the red zone period with a beautiful touchdown. Take us through it, Alexis.
Which one was this? Was this the...
Kendall Hinton.
Oh, I don't remember the Kendall Hinton
Okay,
one. Hold on.
well,
Walk me through this one.
I'll take us through it. 3rd and goal from the 5-yard line.
Oh, I
So
do
another
remember
situation that Sean Payton had set up. Russell Wilson, Kendall Hinton going from crossing the field from right to left. Defensive back half step behind Kendall Hinton, and the only place to drop it as Kendall's approaching the left corner of the end zone is just right over his shoulder. He puts it right in the bucket. Kendall comes down with it, falls to the ground, but it's a touchdown. The offense goes crazy, and it was just a perfect pass from Russ where we've seen Russ kind of miss these touch passes in the first 11 days of camp. This one was as touch as it can be because it has to be high enough to go over the defender, but it can't go too high because Kendall's running out of room in the corner of the end zone.
That's called being in your bag. Like when you're in your bag, you're in your groove, you're feeling good. You start to make plays like that, and you start to put together plays that help your team win and touchdowns. And I think that was just him in his bag. I think we love to see more of that. I think he's in a rhythm. He's talking about stacking 4 days in a row. He's fumbling around that bag somewhere. I think he's finding it.
Yeah, he absolutely is. And that's when it was like, okay, here we go. Russ starting to heat up. And then it's the 2-minute situation to end practice. The 2-minute situation, he's had 4 of these so far in camp.
And they've been rough.
2 of them have been awful. I mean, so bad. And 2 of them have been good, where he's done what he's needed to do, but not incredible, where they're winning the game. Instead, they're like tying the game on a field goal. And Russ, this is when it was vintage Russ. And let's break it down play by play after I tell you about Breckenridge Distillery. If Russ is in his bag, he's probably finding a Breckenridge Distillery bottle in there from their award-winning bourbon. And one of the reasons Russ specifically might be finding that bourbon is because they've got Broncos bourbon. It's the official bourbon of the Broncos, and they've won so many awards. The World Whiskey Awards, they won in 2016, 17, 18, 19, 21, 22, and 3 times in 2023. They're the 4-time winner of Colorado's Distillery of the Year by the New York International Spirits Competition. So not only do the Broncos love them, not only do we love them, but the award winners love them. And if you're in Colorado, of course you can get it, but it's available in all 50 states. We know that a lot of listeners are outside of Denver, so if you want to get it, go to BreckenridgeDistillery.com to find out where you can get it. That's Breckenridge Distillery.
Yep. And if you could bet on distilleries, I would. And then, since you can't, you might as well bet on sports on Bet365.
Boom.
365 pioneered the live in-betting game. They offer the widest range of games available and markets for live in-betting. They have over 780,000 events. I don't even know if there's that many sports and games to bet on, but if you're betting, you should be doing it with Bet365. And if you use the code DNVR365 to sign up, I believe you get 10% off signing up. You got to be 21 or older to sign up. That's a must. So Bet365, that's where it's at.
Boom. Todd, first ad read?
Ooh, I was like,
nailed it. You nailed
we made it through. We made it through.
Man, you know what? I would have bet on you to make it through.
I wasn't
So,
in my
I
bag,
cashed out.
but, I'll find it.
It took Russ, 9 days to
Yep.
get in his bag. So we'll give you 9 days
Okay,
to
I'm
get
good
in
with
your
that.
bag.
I'm good
going to
with
take
that.
the under, though. I think you hit it before 9 days.
All right, let's do it.
I would love the bag with the reading.
Oh, nice.
okay.
Is that a flag? Is that a challenge on that one?
Bam, bam.
You
with
gonna
the
throw
Can you
that?
throw it on yourself?
Yeah, I think we might need to throw a challenge flag on that one. You hear? Okay, let's set the scene for this 2-minute situation. And like we said, in the past 2 practices, Sean's had 2 2-minute situations for the offense. This time only 1. Russ gets 1 opportunity. Minute 43 seconds left. Broncos offense is down 6 in the 4th quarter from their own 27-yard line. So they have to go 73 yards, get a touchdown. If they kick the extra point, they win. If they don't, they tie the game, but a field goal won't work here. Minute 43, down 6. Todd, as a defensive guy, are you feeling pretty good in that situation?
Absolutely. That's a bend but don't break. We're playing everything top down. Just let them catch it in front of us, tackle them, run out some clock, be really slow to get up and kind of just let the clock run out. I think as a defense, we feel like we're in a good spot right there.
And you know what? That's kind of exactly the good Broncos 2-minute drives that they've had over the past few days. That's exactly what the defense have done. They've bend but haven't broken, and they've done a great job of keeping everything tight, forcing Russell Wilson to throw 3-yard outs, and then actually tackling the guys in bounds. It's not what you want to see on the offensive side. You want to see, if they're going to stay in bounds, you want to see like a 15-yard gain. If it's going to be a short one, you want them to get out of bounds. That's not really what the Broncos offense has been doing. I don't think that's really how Sean Payton's been drawing it up. But this one was pretty picture perfect outside of the first couple of plays. The first play was complete to Marvin Mims for 2 yards. he did get out of bounds. So it's like 2-yard gain, not ideal. When you're taking 4 seconds off the clock, okay, sure. You live to fight another down. The next one, I had an incompletion in the flat. Wasn't able to see what actually happened there.
I had a high pass from Russ. It was intended for Javonte Williams, but Javonte just didn't have the hops for it.
Dang, you got those eyes.
I know.
Got those eyes of a
From
hawk from
over there.
Egypt. Yeah, that's impressive. So 3rd and 8. This is game's on the line here, essentially. Russ, under pressure, 2 backup tackles, which we'll get to in a second. Under pressure, Russ does the vintage Russ scramble. Not like he waits in the pocket for way too long and he would have been sacked. Right when he feels that pressure, he kind of turns his back to the defense, completely escapes the pocket, running to the right side, and he sees Marvin Mims wide open down the right side of the field, throws that moon ball to him, hits him perfectly in stride, 37-yard completion, not just picks up a first down, not just gains a lot of yards, but flips the field as well.
Yep.
So the Broncos are in such a good position here. I believe they call timeout right away. Now you're looking at 1:20 left, and now the Broncos are on the defense's 34-yard line.
Yep.
Now, Todd, 1:20 left. The offense is on the 34-yard line. How good are you feeling as a defensive guy now?
That changes the game.
Yeah.
Because you went from bend but don't break, but now it's like, okay, we can't give them anything. Like, we need to pass breakups. We need a sack to get some time off this clock. Now we're in a different position. Now we're feeling the heat, and we're hoping for a play to go our way.
Yep. And Alexis, that was not only a great play from Russ, but that was Marvin Mims' breakout play of camp.
I think so. I think that was his, and he had a couple other plays throughout the day here today that, we were talking about him. Marvin Mims was on the mind. But that was, a 37-yard. I wish I had a better angle of what the catch actually looked like. Was it over the shoulder? Did he have to slow up? Have you heard anything about what that had?
And I actually did see that. He slowed up a little bit.
Okay.
But it was one of those where you're better when he's so wide open. It's better for a quarterback to underthrow that a little bit than overthrow it.
Yep.
And so it wasn't a perfect pass, but I actually think that was probably the right pass. Sean Payton's probably happy with that pass, but so Marvin did kind of turn around and catch it.
Yeah, it's exactly what you want to see from a guy, his age, coming into the league, trying to make big plays. The fact that he is, top of mind today is a good thing.
Yeah, really good thing. So 1st and 10 from the defense's 34. A quick pass to Greg Dulcich for 6 yards. On 2nd down, Russ throws the ball away. Another thing I like to see, live to fight another down. Then 3rd and 4 with 38 seconds left. He hits Jalen Virgil for a first down. It's about 15-yard completion, too. So not only getting the first down, picking up to, some yards as well. So the Broncos 1st and 10 from the defense's 19, 33 seconds left. Russell Wilson, there's a lot of contact downfield in the end zone when Russ is looking for Kendall Hinton. Refs weren't out there. Defense has got to like that. So no flags were thrown.
I think a flag should have been thrown here.
Hey, nobody was there to call it. I'm just saying, you never know.
I love Todd's always going to have the defense's back, especially since just naturally Broncos Country is going to be pulling for Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Todd's going to be like, no, let's pull for the defense
All
here.
the offensive guys were throwing their, invisible flags the whole time.
Well, how many times does the offensive tackle hold or the guard? Every play, and it never gets called. So if a defensive player does it once or twice, nobody saw it. It's okay.
I mean, to be fair, Todd, to your point, I think it was last Saturday when Russ ended practice with that 47-yard touchdown to Jeudy.
Yeah.
A fan took video of that and released it. Garrett Bowles is holding big time on that play. If that's called, we're talking about a whole different sort of practice on Saturday. So that's fair.
Yeah, it's in his DNA. It's in his name.
Oh, wow.
I love Garrett. Garrett knows I love him. I could say it.
Nice one. Here. Only
late.
about like 5 seconds
Little
late.
late here.
Yeah,
It's fine.
let's be quicker on that board.
I got so many things to press that I just want to press at all times. I'm bad at this. I'm
The
sorry.
laugh track? I don't know how I feel about the laugh track.
Oh, I will never watch a show that has a laugh track.
Except
I hate
for
laugh
ours.
tracks.
I need that real deal audience where it's like different kinds of laugh because the laugh track is always the same. It's
Right,
Yeah.
right.
You know what I'm saying? I need like one guy in the crowd, and then like all the different types of laughs. That's the real deal.
If a show needs to tell me when to laugh by a laugh track,
That means it's not funny.
exactly. That's the way I look at it.
It's not funny either.
Oh gosh.
Never wearing a skirt on the pod ever again. Okay, moving on.
And you know what wasn't funny for the defense is the next play. 2nd down, time starting to wind out. About 30 seconds left. Russell Wilson hits Cortland Sutton out inbounds, but then he runs out of bounds for 5 yards. So we're looking at 20 seconds left.
Timeout called.
Yep, 3rd and 5 from the 14. No timeouts left. The Broncos have the ball in the middle of the field. You can you can have a completion inbounds and then run up and spike it. Obviously, it has to be a first down if you're going to do that. But time is no longer really on the offensive side. So Russ looks for the end zone. And he finds Cortland Sutton in the middle of the field. Some tight coverage, but Russ zips the ball in there. Cortland comes down with it. It's a touchdown. The Broncos offense gets into the end zone to win, in quotes. 15 seconds left, depending on who you're playing. Maybe the game's over, maybe it's not. But just a great way for the Broncos offense to cap off a pretty good day, going 73 yards in less than a minute and a half. And we're talking about Greg Dulcich making plays, Marvin Mims, a rookie, making plays, Cortland Sutton, who you really need to see step up, especially with Tim Patrick's injury, making plays.
Yeah, I think this is. I mean, you talked about a situational offense. This is where you really flip the game in your benefit. Whether that's 2 minutes going into the half, that completely changes the momentum of the game. Now you're coming out the second half, you have all the momentum on offense, and the defense doesn't want to come out because of how you guys are putting things together. And I'm happy for Cortland Sutton. I think he's a great player. He's been doubted and spoke down upon these last 2 years and hasn't really played the best football I know he can play. So for him to start getting active, start catching touchdowns, start having good days, I think is great for the Broncos because they're leaning on him a lot, I think, as their leading wide receiver on that team to really make plays.
When it comes to these situational periods, just wanted to ask you, Todd, is this normal for Sean Payton to have this many situational periods, or is this kind of an install thing? It's year one. As years go on, are we going to see less and less of these?
No, I think when I was in New Orleans, I think he did almost just as much of it because it's so important to the game because, it matters when, the ball's on like the 40-yard line. It matters what you do with it and how you make plays. But those 2-minute drills, those red zone periods, that backed up, being able to flip the field on the team, like that's what really changes the game. And you can really look back every game on 1 or 2 plays that where teams don't execute in situational offense or defense. So I think that's his bread and butter because if you can execute those, you have a high chance of winning the game.
Cool.
And one of the most encouraging things about today and about the last few days isn't just seeing it on the field, but we talked to the offensive coordinator, Joe Lombardi, today, and he said over these last few days is when we've really started to make a game-like, where we're actually now calling the plays into Russ's helmet from the sideline. We're doing these situations. We're doing a lot of things more game-like than the first couple of days of practice, where it was more practice-like, we're talking to the quarterback on the field. We're doing substitutions that we typically wouldn't do just to get more guys in. And so if Russ is performing this well when they've started to go game-like, that's when I'm like...
Because he's a gamer, baby.
Yeah, exactly. That's just even more encouraging to me.
Yeah.
It's like, man, he was struggling when things weren't normal. Now it's game-like. And he's really stepping up.
Well, and I think what's exciting is the tempo, right? That's a buzzword that we've been hearing all of camp, the tempo. They're just trying to be quicker. And the fact that things are moving a lot faster and Russ is making faster decisions, that's exactly what we need to see. And like you said, I mean, if they're making things game-like and this is what Russell Wilson's looking like, I think Broncos fans can be really, really excited instead of concerned.
Yeah, I think so too. And that tempo is going to play really well for them because as a defense, it's hard. When the offense is rolling, they're making plays. Now you're 6 plays into a drive. They're back on the ball. You haven't even got a call yet. You're trying to make a call, trying to line up, and they're rolling. That's going to be great for them, especially with them wanting to run the ball. Play action is going to catch a lot of people on their heels and really play well for them, I think.
So Justin Simmons hasn't been out here the days that Russell Wilson has been hot. Todd, I want to get your opinion on how important that is, how much we should read into that, not read into that, after I tell you about our friends over at Kind Love, where Kind Love, you might be celebrating Russell Wilson's putting some days together by checking out our friends over at Kind Love, and they have the Turbo Joint, which, you know it has that new technology that is just going to boost up your product and your experience. And they've got that turbo quartz, turbo joints, and Kind Love flour are sold in more than 100 stores around the state. You can actually visit one of their stores in Cherry Creek or North Denver. And if you mention the code DNVR, you're going to receive 25% off all Kind Love flour pre-rolls and that turbo joint line. You can visit them online at kindlove.com. So check them out, Cherry Creek, North Denver, or kindlove.com, and use that code DNVR or scan the QR code on our screen.
I was gonna try to think of some like catchy way to make Kind Love and Backus and Schenker like correlate, but I got nothing. All I need to tell you is if you need to sue, smash the two,
Boom.
ladies and gentlemen. Backus and Schenker, they win for Colorado families. They're helping those who are seriously injured here in Colorado for more than 25 years, and it is free until they win you the money for your case. They've won over $1 billion for their clients. You know that you want to be a part of that bag, right? They're going to get that bag.
Heck yeah.
Right? Get that bag.
$1 billion, that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. So you guys know what to do. If you need to sue, smash the two, Backus and Schenker, 222-2222. Find out if you have a case for free, because Backus and Schenker, they win.
They do win. And a week ago, Justin Simmons was winning off of Russell Wilson. I mean, there was a 3-day stretch when Justin Simmons had an interception every single day off of Russell Wilson. Is it a coincidence that when Justin Simmons has been sidelined with a tweaked groin, that Russell Wilson's starting to heat up?
I think you have to, take that into consideration because Justin Simmons is that big of a threat. He's one of the best safeties in the league. He's going to put pressure on you. There's certain balls and throws that you're going to be a little bit more hesitant to make. I think it's the same thing if Steve Atwater was back there or Ed Reed. Like, there's certain throws I'm just not going to make. I'm not going to put my guys in certain positions, and I think you have to take that into consideration. But luckily, he doesn't play Justin Simmons every week. I think he'll play lesser safeties every week throughout the schedule. So hopefully it looks a lot like this.
I mean, that's exactly it, is he doesn't have to play Justin Simmons throughout the week. My guess is if Justin Simmons is on the field, Marvin Mims probably isn't pretty wide open 37 yards down the field. I don't think a free safety of Justin Simmons' quality, a.k.a. the best in the league, is letting someone get open that deep. When it is, keep everything in front of you. But it doesn't matter because he's going to have to play Justin Simmons 0 times this season. But Justin Simmons, once again, not practicing today.
Seems like a groin injury.
Seems like a groin injury, according to someone that I know. Of course, he tweaked his groin. And
he did tweak his groin.
Kareem Jackson also not practicing today. We didn't get to talk to Sean Payton for the first time in training camp because the coordinator spoke today, so we didn't get injury updates. And today, unfortunately, would have been a good day to get injury updates. My guess is Kareem Jackson, as Nathaniel Hackett called it, just having an old day. A vet day.
Old man day.
Getting a day off. Yep. What would you think of that if your head coach, instead of saying, yeah, Todd's getting a vet day, Todd's getting an old man day?
Well, they're old. Kareem Jackson has played for many, many years. He is old. He can still do it at a high level, but he's old. So
how old is Kareem? Is he 33?
30, yeah, he's up there.
I think 35.
35? I got to Google this. Is
entering his 14th training camp, I believe.
His age doesn't speak to the fact of whether he can play or not, but he's old.
You know, it's funny. We talked to Caden Stearns last week, and Caden goes, yeah, I look at Kareem like an older brother. No, an older uncle because he's old.
Yeah,
He's 35.
exactly.
35, yeah. Isn't that wild?
And K-Jack's my guy, so I love him, but he knows he's getting up there.
Yeah.
Vet day.
So it was a vet day. I'm not worried about Kareem, but there are some guys that I'm worried about.
Yeah. First one of the day.
Mike, that was the Brandon Johnson,
I think
right?
they both happened at the same time.
It was back-to-back. Was it wide receivers doing one-on-ones, and then the offensive and defensive linemen doing 9-on-7s. I guess I should say linebackers thrown in there as well, doing 9-on-7s on the other field. And Brandon Johnson, did you see the actual injury?
I think he was going up against Jaquan McMillan. And, there was like a little pushing and shoving, like nothing over the top, nothing that you wouldn't see in training camp. But I actually think he slipped.
Yeah.
And I know that they were looking,
Lower body?
below the belt when he was on the sideline. So, yeah, I mean, that's concerning because Brandon Johnson, again, second year in a row, he's having a lights out camp. And then he possibly is dealing with some kind of freak injury.
Well, and so the question was 8 days ago, okay, who's going to step up in Tim Patrick's absence now to be
Probably
that
Brandon
not just
Johnson.
third receiver, but maybe second receiver?
Yeah.
And it took a couple of days, but 8 days later, it was Brandon Johnson. It was number 89. I mean, in the 2-minute drills, number 89 was out there with number 10 and number 14 as the receivers. And then he goes down. You're like, are you kidding me?
And he was able to walk off, which was nice. We saw him walk off, but
it looked bad at first. I mean, he was down on the ground for 5 minutes.
But think what happened for the next hour and a half. We were talking about Marvin Mims for the rest of the day. So it's that fast where you can get your spot jacked, I guess I would say, because Marvin had a huge day in his place.
And honestly, I know it's just one practice, so you don't want to get too ahead of yourself. But the way Sean Payton's been able to get a ton out of rookie receivers in the past 10 years, Marvin Mims honestly may not look back. This might be his job just straight up right now because it's not like Marvin Mims was making plays in one-on-ones. He was making plays in the 2-minute drill.
Exactly.
Which is the most important time, which is when coaches want to put guys in situations that are tough, and Marvin came up big. So it's really unfortunate that Brandon had that injury, but this Marvin might just be running away with the job now.
Yeah, I think he's really showing them his big playmaking ability, which is why they drafted him.
Yeah.
I think this is what they wanted to see from him. And like you said, it takes one play for your job to be gone. And although Brandon Johnson was having a good camp, you better rush back and get on that field, young man, because before you know it, you may not have a spot to go back to because Mims, he's lighting it up. He's feeling good. And as a rookie, you just need to start feeling like you could do this. You have to feel like you can compete with the older guys or can compete at this level. And once you see that you can, I think, you really take off from there.
That switch flips.
Yep.
A huge confidence boost for Marvin Mims, I think, today was. And then, like you said, at nearly the exact same time that Brandon Johnson went down, we think Mike McGlinchey was rolled up on. I didn't see the actual injury. Did you?
I did, and he was rolled up on. There was a really big dog pile situation happening in the middle, and yeah, it was a little awkward. He kind of, appeared out of a group of guys. There was about 5 guys that he appeared through. But, it did seem like he was rolled up on. He also went to the side and then was able to walk off, but he didn't complete practice.
Yeah, he didn't. And that's one. You're talking about a $17.5 million man per season, $50 million guaranteed. This is someone that the Broncos, big time, mini bags.
Yeah.
This is someone that you're talking about the Broncos are relying on to be a huge part of their team this entire season. And to see him go down, really concerning. Again, we didn't get an update after practice. He did walk off the field under his own power, and it did seem like it was a lower leg injury because he was limping as he walked off the field. But that's something that we're certainly going to get an update on from Sean tomorrow. Hope to just see Mike McGlinchey out there tomorrow. But this is one we have to keep our eye on. But Garrett Bowles also missed today with just a vet rest day. So what made that 2-minute drive even more impressive is its backup tackles. I mean, you have Isaiah Prince and Cam Fleming as your starting tackles. That is a scary thing to think about for the most part if you're a Broncos fan. And they held up enough, or Russ was able to work with them enough to go 73 yards downfield. So, I mean, this drive just gets more impressive the more you really break it down.
Yeah, I think they played well. I mean, they were able to put it together, and ultimately their team got the score they needed. So they could step in, I think, short term and do what they need to until guys get back. But we're definitely missing the 2 starters. And hopefully for him, it was just like a little tweak. $17 million a year. I mean, we don't need you to come back out right now. We just need you for game 1. So just get healthy, get right, and then hopefully he's back.
And those tackles are going up against Randy Gregory, Frank Clark, Jonathan Cooper, Nick Bonito. And after practice, we talked to your guy, Vance Joseph, who, by the way, Vance seems so comfortable.
Yeah,
which
confident.
is, I wouldn't have been surprised, not for Vance, but for any coach, if this was just an awkward year. Being the head coach, getting fired, coming back is in a lower role, just being weird. No, it's the complete opposite with Vance. When he's on that podium, when he's talking to players, when he's talking with us off to the side, he is as comfortable as can be, which is what you need. And I'm so glad to see. So that's just kind of a side note. But we talked to Vance, and he was talking about the pass rush. And he said, this is one of the best pass rush groups that I've had in quite some time. And the first thing that I thought of was, wow.
Yeah, what a
'Cause,
statement.
Todd, you remember your pass rushers that Vance had?
Yeah.
In what would that be? 2017. So I guess he didn't have DeMarcus,
No,
right?
he didn't have DeMarcus.
But he did have Von Miller.
Yep.
He
Shaq.
did have Shaq Barrett.
Yep.
He did have Shane Ray.
Yep.
He did have interior guys. Derek Wolfe was
Yep.
there. I mean, the guys that Vance had with that group, it was almost the Super Bowl 50 pass rush, which just incredible. And he's kind of saying, maybe he's going back to there, saying I haven't had these pass rushers since that
then?
team.
Uh-huh.
But it's like, whoa, you've had some literally Hall of Fame dudes.
Yep.
And you're talking about this group in a big way. That's huge to hear because this pass rush, I think, is the difference between this defense being top 7 in the league and this defense being maybe a bottom 10 group, because you just have question marks kind of all over that group.
Yeah, because that's a defensive coordinator's dream, is to have 2 sets of guys that you can roll.
Yeah.
Because it's frustrating when you have the first group in there and they're getting good pressure, but the second group gets in there, it's just stagnant. When you have two groups that can really roll, and now you get offensive linemen tired, you bring the fresh guys in on third down to make some big plays. That's what I think he's dreaming about and thinking about. As long as he doesn't start talking about he's had these are the best linebackers he's had his whole career, I think I'm good with the compliment he's giving to those guys.
Well, you'll be happy today he didn't say that.
I will say Alex Singleton had a couple tackles for loss today. He had
yes,
a great
he
day.
did.
Yeah.
He might have a couple of sacks this year.
I'm
Yep.
feeling a couple sacks for Alex Singleton. I think this is going to be a huge year for Alex Singleton. What are your thoughts on the inside linebackers
I think
right now?
I think both of them are very talented. I think that they're both smart guys. I think Alex Singleton has flourished into his role a lot. Josie Jewell, I think, is steady Eddie. He's going to give you and make the plays that he's supposed to make. I think those 2 guys are really talented, and they're going to play phenomenally this year. So I'm excited to see them. Alex Singleton, another big sky guy. So, it's nothing but love there. So I think they're going to have a great year.
How would you describe Todd Davis as an inside linebacker? We just got the breakdown on Alex Singleton. We just got the breakdown on Josie Jewell.
Yeah.
What type of linebacker is Todd Davis?
That's tough to describe yourself, but for myself, I think I was, a run dominant linebacker that played well in the past, and I think that I made some big plays at times, and then I feel like I held my job down for the most part. I think it's tough to really describe yourself, but I say that's me.
Yeah.
Tough to describe it. He just didn't skip a beat.
Yeah,
Like,
he didn't skip-
He's like, I thought about
Yeah,
this.
pretty modest though. You could have
You're
been a little
so
higher on
modest.
yourself.
Oh man, it's tough. I can't. It's hard to describe yourself.
That's fair.
Totally.
Were you a captain under? Was it Vance or was it Vic?
It was Vance.
It was Vance because
And
Vic
then-
took captains away.
Yeah, man. I'm like this. Okay. I was captain last year. For sure, I'm going to be captain
Yeah,
again this year. And
yeah.
we're sitting in the meeting. He's like, there are no captains. We're all captains. I'm like, I need that second star, man.
You're like, but I'm a captain, right?
Exactly. So that hurt because now I only had that 1 star on my jersey.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
That's a flag against
for sure.
Vic gets a flag.
So
For
that hurt.
sure.
That hurt more than the music, though, right?
Yeah, because for me, I feel like as an undrafted free agent, it's so much work to get to a level where guys see you as a leader because
Yeah.
those captain positions are voted on by your teammates.
Yeah.
So for the guys to choose me as the captain for one year, it meant so much to me. But I had a good year that year, and I was still there, so it automatically was like I'm about to get another
Yep,
year,
yep.
and it got taken away from me. Man, I felt like that was tough. I feel like that was way tougher than losing the music.
What
Yeah.
else was taken away?
Oh man.
I don't know. It was
Like,
everything.
Music at practice. I
Uh-huh.
mean,
Knew that.
of course, everything music related was taken away.
Yep.
Fun.
Fun was pretty much off the table.
Yeah.
I remember one time I asked him because he's from Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm a big Office guy. I maybe watch Office every night to fall asleep.
There we go.
And I went and talked to him and I was like, hey, did you like The Office? I know you're from Scranton. He's like, no, it's not really my thing. They don't really have the humor I like. I'm like, what kind of person doesn't like
You
The
mean
Office?
just humor? Just humor in
Yeah,
general?
yeah. They're laughing too much. Oh, that's crazy. So, I don't think he liked too much fun. He wanted to be all business, but I think to be a winning coach and an organization, you got to be able to blend the two.
Yeah. I think this is where like Mike Shanahan had it figured out.
Yeah.
Where it seemed like those locker rooms. I spent a lot of time with Steve Atwater in my day there over at the Broncos, and it seemed like there was a really nice balance of family and fun and constantly messing with each other, guys pranking each other, filling their lockers with stuff, snakes in, clothing bags and lockers, stuff like that.
Yep.
Like there was all kinds of fun happening, but Mike Shanahan was able to rally the troops and get everybody to really focus when it mattered most. But when there was Hat Fridays where they got to like, if they had a really good week, then they could like wear hats instead of helmets on Fridays, which is like such a small little detail, but
like goofy hats.
But goofy,
too.
yeah, they could wear whatever hat they wanted.
Yeah.
And because of that, like that camaraderie was really high. And every guy that I've ever talked to that's won a Super Bowl always says that it's that family feeling. It's those are your brothers. You guys mess with each other, but you obviously have each other's backs when you guys are in the trenches together. And I think, because I was obviously around during those Vic Fangio days as well, where it's like you just didn't feel it just because there wasn't a lot of warmth going on, right? I think Mike Shanahan probably had that balance.
Yeah, even going back to your hat days on Fridays before games, like with Coob and with Vance, like everybody would switch jerseys. So like I would be wearing like a running back's jersey, or a D lineman would switch with a wide receiver. Yeah. And Vic was like, "No, we're not doing that. Everybody keep your jerseys on. Like we need to know who you are. Like you know who we are. Like we're just having a little bit of fun throughout the day." But he wanted everything strict and tightened and by the book, and I just don't know if guys responded well to that.
Yeah.
I mean, putting the no fun in the NFL and the no fun league right there. I will say from a media perspective, we definitely appreciated Vic doing that, because it's impossible to tell what players are out there from far away when we can't see your faces, and Todd Davis is wearing number 3 or something.
Exactly.
Okay, I think over the years here in Denver as of late, we've really like run the gamut when it comes to fun and serious and kind of all of it. So I guess as somebody who's played for Sean, where does he fall on that spectrum?
I think he's one of the few coaches that knows how to balance it. Like he knows how to have you locked in into a meeting and to listen to the words I'm saying, but I also know how to. We're having a club after we win the game.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I know
Clubbed
clubbed up. I know how to do both. I know how to make it fun for our players, but also have them totally locked in and dialed in when I need them to.
And
when can we turn this into Club Dub?
Oh, well, before podcasts.
Okay.
I mean, just all the time, I say.
But like the speakers are the size of this table, and there's like, 6 of them in there?
Yeah.
And, yeah.
$40,000
worth of speakers. Yeah. I feel like...
Real quick, we have a nice panel right here. Should we vote on captain of the podcast right now?
Yeah,
dang.
you got to give it to the guy that's been a captain before.
All right. It's decided. Todd is the new captain of the DNVR Broncos.
I'm going home and coloring in that second star on my jersey.
We're going to get you a patch, and we'll just stick it on your shirt, whatever shirt you're wearing each day you're on the pod.
Let's do
stick
it.
it on there.
I love
you're
it.
a captain.
I love it. And something else that we love here is our friends over at... Where are they over at?
I don't know.
Our friends over at, I believe it's FOCO. Yes, it is FOCO. Because, I mean, just look at our set. We've got so many things from FOCO, from bobbleheads to little helmets to hats to these pennants that we've got behind us. FOCO's got you covered, whether you're talking Broncos, Nuggets, championship gear, Avs, championship gear, Rockies. You can even get old school Broncos championship gear. I guess not that old school. 2015 is not old
Did
school.
you say Rockies
No.
championship gear?
No, it's the only one you can't say
I was
championship
gonna say.
gear with.
I
So,
mean, does the NL pennant count? Because you won the NL. It's a championship.
I mean, they've got that one pennant up there. It's the NL champions,
If it's
baby.
a banner, it's a banner. Like,
Yeah,
No.
but they've got it at FOCO. So you can probably find the NL West champions from 2007. You can probably find that pennant over at FOCO, and use that code DNVR at FOCO.com to get 10% off. FOCO is a great place to go for gifts for someone, because if they like sports, they're going to love it. So check them out over at FOCO. Should we hop into the comment section? Talk
Let's
to
do
the
it.
people?
Comment.
Let's do it.
Any super chats
Really
you
quick,
hear?
smash the like button,
Yeah,
guys.
what are we
We're not even
doing?
at 100.
We've got Todd Davis and Alexis Perry
Mainly
on,
just Todd
and we're not
Davis.
even at 100. What are we doing? Hit us with, and we're talking about Russell Wilson heating up.
Yeah.
See, I love this.
I'm taking this
Todd D
personally
and the
right
Bronco
now.
media lady. Exactly. I don't even have a name. I love it.
I don't even get acknowledged.
That's true.
How about that?
You don't even exist.
also, if you want to meet Todd Davis and Alexis Perry, we'll be here Friday night
Yep.
live from the bar.
Boom.
Come meet the whole gang. They'll all be here.
And I'm excited. It's my first, pre and post game. I've been hearing a lot of good things about the bar downstairs. I will be there. I will be in attendance. And I'm excited, man.
It's gonna be lit.
It's going to be awesome. And like you said, pre and post game, plus a game, plus Russell Wilson playing 15 to 18 plays. And Todd's been out at practice, and he's been talking with some other media members, and we're confined to a pretty tight space.
As tight as it could be, yeah.
Yeah, so you kind of just overhear conversations, and occasionally I'll be talking with Alexis or talking with Henry watching practice, and I'll hear someone say to Todd, like, oh, over at DNVR. And I'm like, oh, no. What advice is he going to get right now? And it's always been good. So I'm like, whew, okay, we passed that test. We'll see if we pass Friday night's test with you, Todd.
I think we will.
This is the place to watch a game, too.
Yeah, so Friday night is the time. I mean, preseason games, kind of lame. Let's just be honest. At least we get starters this game.
Yeah.
But it's a Friday night game.
It's football season, though. Like it's I know it's preseason, but hey, it's football players in pads. It's the NFL, Broncos, Cardinals. Like, let's go. Like at the end of the day, I know it's preseason, but it's exciting. It's here. It's almost here.
Did you guys see what Jonathan Gannon, the Cardinals head coach, said yesterday? He was asked about, I think, his rookie receiver.
I was gonna bring that up when you were talking Pat Surtain earlier.
Yeah, I just think he's setting his receiver up for failure. He was asked about, I think it's his rookie receiver, like, how's he doing? Or how do you gauge how he's doing? And his answer was, well, let's see if he can get open against Pat Surtain.
Ooh.
He's not going to.
No.
He's
So
not
then
wrong,
what does
but-
that mean? That he's failing now as a rookie receiver?
Dang.
I
So
know.
basically, he's trash if he doesn't get open. But we already know he's not going to get open.
Yes.
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah, the guy should just pack his bags and go home right
Yeah.
now. Like, no need to play in the game on Friday.
Yeah, no. Well, I'm going up against the best cornerback in the NFL.
Yeah.
The only guy that's had success against him in the past 12 months is Davante Adams.
Yeah.
Who a lot of people say is the best receiver in the NFL.
For sure.
Do you agree with that?
I think he's one of the best. I think he's top maybe 3
Yep.
for sure. He's a talented wide receiver. But everybody has an off day. It doesn't make him not the best cornerback in the league.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, first team All Pro.
Yep.
And he just raked in every single award last year. Deservedly so. So good luck to that rookie wide receiver.
Your coach doesn't believe in you.
Yeah,
But-
pretty much.
And now
It's
everybody's
fine.
watching too. Everybody's gonna be zoned in on that matchup. Like
Right.
Yeah.
now, there's even more pressure on you to succeed. And
Man.
that's
Maybe
tough.
Pat will be out there at like 20% because he's just out there to get the reps and there's
Pat's gonna throw
he's not
this,
gonna go full
this
speed.
kid a bone.
Yeah, just like all right. I feel bad for you, buddy.
Although Pat's a kid too. He's like probably
No,
a
he's
year
not.
older
This
than
is what I
this
was
guy.
saying earlier. He's a 10-year vet. I don't care what anyone says.
But that's what makes it even more impressive is he's actually 23
I
years
know.
old.
Yeah,
And he
no, he's
feels
the
like
best.
a 10-year vet. Okay, let's hop into the comment section. Wow, a lot of likes in those past few minutes.
Thank
Let's keep
you.
them going.
That's
We
what I'm talking
appreciate
about.
Not a
it.
super chat, but I think there's a thing that we should strive for on Friday.
Andre F says, if we reach 100 likes, we got to set the bar higher than 100 likes. He says, can we get Zach to say, stay off the weed? Did I say that right? I don't know what he's referring to.
Oh, he's referring to who's the golfer?
No, it's,
Andre.
No, it's Stephen A. Stephen A. keeps yelling
Oh,
that.
yeah, Stephen A.
I
Yeah.
No.
Or if, maybe a couple hundred likes on Friday's show, and it can be a weekend. You get it? Yeah, yeah. We did that. We did that for kind of. Okay.
We should also do maybe a shotgun beer for a certain amount of likes on Friday.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay.
Which
yeah.
we have.
I'm
in
not
the
drinking
past.
right now.
Well, you're not allowed to come on Friday then.
I know. There's
Alexis
gonna be-
actually isn't going to be here, so don't worry. That's why. That's not the reason she's going to be here.
I'm not going to be here. I know. I have to work. This came up so last minute. I know. I know.
Ooh.
I know. I'll be coming back from Houston.
That's a flag. Throw the
Dang.
flag.
Throw the
Throw the
flag.
flag.
I know. She's not drinking. She has to work.
Wow. On a
Yeah,
Friday night.
On a Friday. I'll be on a
Dang.
flight. And I was hoping to get
Even
on one
worse.
earlier, but it looks like an 11:08 landing. So
You know
maybe I'll
what?
come here after, and if people are still hanging out, it's a Friday night. This place should still be packed.
There
so
could be 20 more Broncos games this season. More than 20 Broncos
yeah,
games this season.
I'll be here. I'll be at all the other ones.
Boom. I love it. All right, let's hop into the comments on the website. First one coming in from the Count, who Todd yesterday he was
That's my
He was
guy.
pumping you up.
Yeah,
and
that's my guy.
It continues.
Okay.
As a junior in high school, Todd had 161 tackles.
He's going way back.
and 14 sacks. He says,
Jeez.
let that sink in. That's insane. So you said you were playing a little bit of end. Was it all end?
No, at that time I had moved to middle linebacker.
14 sacks?
Yeah.
Dang.
They rushed me a lot because my first 2 years in high school, I played like D tackle and outside linebacker. So I rushed a lot like as a linebacker.
So they weren't afraid to bring that blitz.
No.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Every play, apparently.
No. It was a good year. It was a good year. Shout out to the count, man. That's my guy. We haven't met in person, but I feel like I know you, man.
Oh, man.
He knows you. He knows you.
The count is awesome. He goes on and says, all right, folks, if Russ were to improve dramatically from last season in only one of the following categories, which would you choose and why? So there's 3 categories. Short game, long game, and scrambles. Love the count. Which one are you taking, Alexis? Short game, long game, and scrambles.
Long game.
Yeah, I'm right with you.
It takes a lot less long game, long deep ball throws to win a game than it does short game.
Yep.
So if he gets dramatically better in his long game, hitting Jerry Jeudy, hitting Cortland Sutton, hitting Marvin Mims deep, I think that takes care of a lot of the problems that we had last year.
Okay, just to be different, I'm going to say scrambles. One, because that means he's confident, getting outside the pocket.
Or
That
he's
means
under duress.
Or he's under duress, which is probably going to happen. Let's be honest. Like, it's probably, I think there's going to be an improvement in the offensive line, but I'm concerned with injuries. I have a lot of concerns when it comes to the offensive line. So I'm banking on Russell Wilson probably having to scramble a little bit more than we want him to. But if he's vintage Russ, that's okay. And usually those scrambles do turn in to the long game. Usually he goes deep. I mean, not always, but there's a lot of moon balls when he scrambles.
I mean, you don't get the pass to Marvin Mims without his scrambling ability.
Exactly.
Today.
And it was a 37-yard bomb, and I liked it.
It is fair. And those were just missing last year. That's
Yeah.
what Russ was vintage at, the scrambling and then throwing the deep ball for the first 10 years of his career.
Yep.
It was totally gone last year. So that's why I'm going to go
Don't say
long
short game.
Long game. I'm going to go long game just because I think that would just be huge.
Yeah, for sure.
Huge. All right, next one from Nash Bronco says, fellas, I love the vibe Todd brings to the show. Hats off to you guys for adding a unique perspective to the pod. Perfectly well said, Nash. He says, sounds like Russ had a better day today. Who are his favorite targets at this point in camp? Who would you say?
Jerry Jeudy. I think Jerry Jeudy is somebody he's looking at a lot, which is good because Jerry Jeudy, he has to have a better year this year. Today I was talking with a couple media members. I'm like, is this the year where how do I say this? I can't say it exactly how I said it earlier. He needs to catch the ball, and he needs to catch the ball before turning and burning. You know what I mean? I think sometimes he's always like 2 steps ahead of his own game where he needs to finish and he needs to catch the ball. And we've seen that a lot so far. How many drops has Jerry had? Maybe 1, 2?
In team periods, yeah, not that many.
No, yeah. Like
We've seen a couple in one-on-ones.
But yeah, I mean, I just feel like Jerry Jeudy is probably going to be a go-to target. I think Greg's going to have a big year this year. I'm feeling Dulcich.
I think so too. And that's actually one thing that stood out to me about Russ so far in camp is it's not like we come on this pod and we're talking about another huge day from Jerry Jeudy or Cortland Sutton.
Yeah.
It's been really spread out, and the names have been Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, Greg Dulcich is right in that conversation. And maybe we're going to see Marvin Mims also pop in there because Brandon Johnson was also one of those guys over this past week that's really been in there. And that's very, very encouraging because you don't want a guy just locking on one wide receiver. That makes it really easy for a defense.
Yeah, it does. And I think, Jerry Jeudy is posed to have a great year. I think, what's frustrating about Jerry is that he's played well, but we know that he can be amazing.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to see from him. And so that's why the fans are frustrated. Not that he's just having terrible seasons, because he's not. He's just not being the Jerry Jeudy that everybody knows he could be and that we've seen him at times be. We just need that consistency from him. Greg Dulcich, I think, came alive last year. I think he's going to continue to get better as a tight end and really be an option and really be, somebody that's you can't match up with well. You don't want to stick a linebacker on him. You don't want to stick a corner on him. Like, what do you do against him? I think he's going to be a great outlet for Russell Wilson. Cortland Sutton, that's my guy. I think we need to get more balls to Cortland Sutton, more jump balls. We just need balls. Wait, timeout.
I wanted to see where that was going.
Footballs. We need footballs in his vicinity because he can make those catches. He has long arms. I think he's a great wide receiver. He just needs more opportunity.
Yeah, I like that. And see,
Thank you for putting that so much more eloquently than I did. I
Yeah.
was like, Jerry, Jeudy, da-da. And he's like, hold on, let me save you. Appreciate that.
See, Todd, the difference between you and me, you stopped yourself, took a step back. I just would have powered through and made a fool out of myself. So
I didn't want you guys to pause me on that. I had to pause myself.
Todd, we experienced something with Jerry Jeudy yesterday where he was wide open in one-on-ones. The ball's hanging in the air, and you have to imagine he just thinking, don't drop this, don't drop this, don't drop this. And he dropped it. And now it was one-on-one, so it's not a big deal. That's why we didn't talk about it yesterday. Is there an equivalent for an inside linebacker in that situation? Is it like, I don't know, a hole's wide open and a running back's right there, and it should be an easy tackle, or the ball's floating in the air off a tip or something?
Yep.
Have you been in a situation like that, and you just have too much time to think about how easy this is?
Yeah, I think it's, having a running back one-on-one in the hole or in space, or going up against Christian McCaffrey in space, and you're like, don't miss this tackle, don't miss this tackle. The more you think about it, the greater chance it is that you're going to miss that tackle. And it's the worst. Like when you miss a tackle and the guy's scot-free, and you look up, he's still running, and you're just praying like, okay, somebody else tackle him. Because if he goes for 10 or 12 more, like that's not the end of the day.
Right.
But if he goes for a touchdown off of my missed tackle, it's over. Like my day is done.
Yeah, and then you know that everyone saw it.
Yep.
Whether it's the missed tackle, whether it's, a wide receiver dropping a wide open pass in the end zone or something.
I think leading up to this season, what's good news is the fact that we haven't seen the Jerry Jeudy that we've all expected. The best part about that is that I think it really is all just mental for him. There's no physical ailments. There's nothing holding him back physically from being the player who we know he is. He's still a young guy. I think this is his year where maybe his mental is probably in a better place.
Yeah.
Because if you think about his stuff both on the field and off the field, he's been through kind of some difficult things.
Yeah.
So, I think this is his year.
Yep, I think so too. And I mean, if you're ever going to have a good offensive coordinator to help you with that, it's going to be Sean Payton, who Russell Wilson called, like we've been saying on this pod, one of the best play callers in NFL history. And that's true. In 9 seasons with the Saints, he had a top 5 offense, which is just wild.
Do you guys think Jerry Jeudy has over 100 catches this year?
100?
100. Century Club?
With
That's
Tim
a lot.
going down, I'll say yes.
I would say he'll be in the 90s. I think there's a lot of guys, and like you talked about earlier, Russ is really spreading the ball around.
Yeah.
So I think with that being the case, I think he'll be in the 90s because we have other talented receivers. But 95 catches, that's a lot of catches.
Yeah. That's
So you're
a
taking
ton.
the under. I'll take the over.
I'll take the slide over.
Okay.
I better be
Okay.
getting juice on Bet365 for that.
Oh, yeah. Juice.
That's a lot. All right, 2 comments left. Arvada Luke says, okay, so it seems like we're getting a bit dinged up here and there at practice. If we accept the premise that contact reps are good and sustaining injuries is okay because uninjured participants benefit from the contact, shouldn't we be bringing in more wide receivers so they can get up to speed? Seems like we probably should shore up that position with injuries occurring, especially since the offense has been bad and suffered the most from thin roster situations historically. For that reason, I wouldn't mind signing a couple more running backs. My guy Philip Lindsay is still available, he says. Todd, Philip Lindsay?
I love Phil, man. He was the hometown kid I felt like never should have been let go of or traded. I feel like he should have been a Bronco for, most of his career because he had played so well with no quarterback, with a banged up offensive line, and was continued to go out there and perform. It was sad to see him go, and I wish that he would have been a Bronco for much longer.
Yeah, everyone listening to this show completely agrees with you, Todd.
Yeah.
No one wanted to see Phil leave. And the Broncos have made some moves at wide receiver, but it's guys like signing Michael Bandy, Nick Williams, who's a Colorado kid, so maybe people should like him.
CSU Pueblo, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
But I think Arvada Luke and a lot of Broncos fans are like, no. Go sign Jarvis Landry's. Go sign the big Julio Jones, the big name guys. And to me, I used to be like that. But then you just see this every single year. Why are these guys still available? Julio Jones isn't Julio Jones anymore. Jarvis Landry's not Jarvis Landry anymore. There's a reason they're still available on August 8th. And not just that the Broncos haven't signed them.
No one has.
No one has. And every Hall of Famer's career comes to an end. Every good player's career comes to an end. I think there's a reason why the Broncos aren't going after bigger name guys.
Yeah, I think right now in the free agent market, you got big names that have gotten old, and then you got a lot of young guys that are unproven. So I don't think that you're going to find the next best wide receiver to help your team out there in the free agent market right now. You may have some guys that can add more depth to the team, but as far as the core guys that you need to help you win, they're all in the locker room with you right now.
Yeah, you can groom these guys. I mean, I think of a guy like Jalen Virgil. You know, we've seen some splashy moments from him in the few reps that he's gotten. And, you know, to give a guy like that a few more snaps, like, I wouldn't mind. I'm going to keep my eyes peeled on him and obviously the rest of this wide receiver room during these preseason games. But I think, oddly enough, as much as it seems like that's kind of the position that the Broncos struggle with in terms of depth, I think there is quite a bit of depth at the position. I'm biased.
Yeah,
maybe a little.
I mean, just look at Brandon Johnson, a guy that 2 weeks ago, probably a lot of fans forgot about who he was. Now he was their third wide receiver.
He was making a name for himself
before he went down. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that there are guys on the roster that probably right now are better than bringing in some of these names that everyone knows, but there's a reason why they're not signed. All right, last question coming in from Bronco Oilers says, the defense dominating practices has kind of been the theme for the past 5 or more years, but I'm curious if you think it has played a role in the offense's struggles. I know typically the thought is that playing a higher level of competition in practice will make life easier on game day, but do you think the defense consistently disrupting their groove carries over into Sundays?
That's a good question. That's a good question. Well, I would say football is like 85% mental, and just like we talked about, Jerry Jeudy and his game being more so mental as far as him elevating to that next level. I think there could be something there with the offense constantly getting worked in practice. I don't know if they get the same confidence that they normally have. You're going up against a good defense. It's going to be tough for you, but they may be lacking a little bit of confidence because if they don't do it in practice, when can they get the confidence to feel like they really can execute?
I don't remember if it was Kubiak or Vance or both of them. They would at times, Von Miller would dominate training camp practices so much.
They'd pull them off.
Yeah, the offense just wasn't able to get work in because Von would just be living in the backfield and Trevor Siemian wouldn't be able to get good reps because Von's just in his face every play. So
that wasn't
midway
the only
through
That's
reason.
why we struggled. That was the reason right there.
And so midway through practice, they would say, Von, just take the rest of the day off, or, take every other rep off or something like that. Did it ever happen where it was told to the entire defense, like, okay, guys, let's be a little easier on this offense?
No.
Okay.
And I don't think guys would have gone for it. I think Von's a nice guy, so he would take the play and be like, all right, they can have that one because he knows he's going to get his. But the rest of the defense, that back end that we had, y'all not getting nothing. We don't care what these coaches say. Y'all better come ready to play.
And so that's maybe a reason why at times in those training camps we saw, instead of ones versus ones, we'd see 1 versus 2. It's a way of them saying, okay, I'm not going to tell Aqib to take it easy. Instead, I'm just going to put some backups in there.
Yeah, but it'd be tough when even those days the defense would win. Like, that's when it was really bad.
Oh, yeah. That's why this Friday night could be awesome. We could see Russ go out there in 15, 18 plays. He puts up 17 points. But the flip side, the Arizona Cardinals, let's say they're playing their backups. Their backups are like third stringers because they are so bad. The Broncos' first team goes out there and struggles. Oh, man, that's going to be bad. That's what you're saying, Todd.
Do not put that.
Well, I'm encouraged. I don't think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because I'm encouraged with what we're seeing from the offense. And we're getting close.
We are.
One
Yeah,
more
we're excited.
practice, a real practice of training camp. Then Thursday, the team has a walkthrough. They fly to Arizona Thursday night. Then it starts on Friday night.
It's time to go.
We're getting there. It's time to go. We got a podcast tomorrow, and we also have a super chat coming in from One Hoop. Says, I got Surtain and Simmons autographs today. No DNVR autographs, though.
Dang.
Well, you didn't ask. We would have definitely given them, but that's awesome to get Surtain and Simmons. And I got to give a shout out to our guy, Jeremy, who came over to the media tent and said what's up to Hank and I. So, Jeremy, thank you so much for listening. Enjoy your time. He's actually going to stop by the bar later. So
He said hello to me, too.
Oh, and
I got
to
one.
Alexis.
I got one. Finally.
Love it.
Yes.
We love you, Jeremy. We love everyone that's listening. Hit us with a thumbs up on your way out. We really appreciate it. Had a great show, friends. Let's see you tomorrow on the DNVR Broncos podcast.